Good day, time travelers. Before we dive into our fascinating journey through time today, a quick nod to our sponsor, Men's Shop Here. Men's Shop Here offers a vast selection of men's watches and accessories, catering to every style and preference. If you're on the hunt for the perfect gift for the man in your life, look no further. Men's Shop Here has got you covered. Now buckle up as we delve into the annals of history. Today we're exploring the 10 craziest political assassinations in history. Our journey commences amidst the majestic architecture and political intrigue of ancient Rome, with a deep dive into the assassination of Julius Caesar. On the infamous Ides of March in the year 44 BC, this towering political figure met his untimely end in one of history's most notorious political betrayals. A climate of fear and suspicion hung over Roman Senate as Caesar's growing power and influence unsettled the traditional aristocracy. The conspirators, led by Brutus, were not just individuals cloaked in the shadows of treachery. They were esteemed senators, members of the very institution that Caesar was believed to be undermining. Cassius Longinus, Decimus Brutus, and over 60 others joined in this fateful plot, believing that Caesar's death would restore the Republic. However, the aftermath of Caesar's death was far from what the conspirators had envisaged. It led not to the restoration of the Republic, but to a series of destructive civil wars, culminating in the rise of the Roman Empire under the rule of Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, later known as Augustus. Thus, the assassination of Julius Caesar, intended to preserve the Republic, ironically led to its demise in the dawn of Imperial Rome. Moving onward, we journey back to the tumultuous era of the 16th century and delve into the merciless assassination of Francisco Pizarro. A prominent Spanish conquistador, Pizarro is renowned for his conquest of the Incan Empire, a mighty civilization which crumbled under his command. His life, however, was abruptly ended by the vengeful blow of the son of his former partner and ally. The circumstances leading up to his death were filled with treachery and deceit. The assassin, consumed by animosity and thirsting for revenge, was driven by the betrayal he felt when Pizarro disgraced his father. But it wasn't just a personal vendetta. The political landscape was fraying, and the assassination was a desperate attempt to seize power and restore balance. The motivations of Pizarro's killer were both personal and political. The murder was not only an act of vengeance, but also a tactical move to assert dominance over the conquered territories. The killer hoped to seize the moment and gain control over the Incan civilization that Pizarro had left leaderless. In the aftermath of the assassination, the Incan Empire was plunged into chaos and confusion. The power vacuum caused by Pizarro's death led to a struggle for control, further destabilizing the empire. However, it also sparked a glimmer of hope among the Incas for regaining autonomy, marking a significant turning point in their history. Our third port of call takes us to the chilling event of the assassination of King Louis XVI of France. To truly understand the gravity of this event, it's vital to immerse ourselves into the tumultuous period of the French Revolution. The Revolution, a socio-political storm that swept through France from 1789 to 1799, was fueled by the public's growing discontentment with the monarchy and the vast socio-economic inequalities in the country. King Louis, the reigning monarch at the time, symbolized the excesses of the aristocracy. His extravagant lifestyle in the midst of widespread poverty and hardship did not sit well with the public. As the revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity echoed through the streets of France, the public sentiment towards the monarchy increasingly soured. The climax came with the infamous event of Louis's execution. In a public square, the once mighty King Louis XVI was executed by guillotine, a striking symbol of the people's power. The guillotine was designed to be a humane method of execution by quickly severing the head, but for Louis, it was a public display of the monarchy's downfall. The aftermath of his execution sent shockwaves that reverberated through France and across Europe. The monarchy was abolished, and a new republic was born. This radical shift in governance led to increased political instability, paving the way for the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte and the eventual establishment of the French Empire. But the echoes of the French Revolution and the lessons learned from the tragic end of King Louis XV continue to shape the world's understanding of the power of the people to this day. Our fourth epic tale transports us back to the United States, back to the shocking assassination of President Abraham Lincoln. But let's take a moment to understand the happenings that led to this fateful day. As the nation was caught in the throes of the Civil War, President Lincoln, with his leadership and strategic vision, was leading the Union towards victory. He was a beacon of hope in the grim days of the Civil War. However, his strong stand on the abolition of slavery made him a target among certain factions. One such figure was John Wilkes Booth, a renowned actor and a Confederate sympathizer. His resentment towards Lincoln, fueled by the president's policy on slavery and his belief that Lincoln was a tyrant, culminated in a sinister plot. On the night of April 14, 1865, the plot came to fruition. Lincoln, unsuspecting, was watching a play at Ford's Theater when Booth shot him. A tragic bullet marked a tragic end to the life of a great leader. The impact of Lincoln's death was monumental. His assassination sent shockwaves through a nation that had just started healing from the ravages of the Civil War. It added an extra layer of sorrow to an already grieving nation. The United States was left to navigate through the complex task of reconstruction and the integration of the southern states without the guidance of their beloved leader. This tale is indeed a stark reminder of a heartbreaking chapter in American history. Moving on, we journey to Russia for an in-depth look at the assassination of Grigory Rasputin. This infamous mystic, often called the Mad Monk, was a charismatic and influential figure in the Russian court, having won the confidence of Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra. Despite his religious eccentricity, Rasputin played a significant role in Russian politics and was attributed with a certain mystic healing power, which allegedly saved the life of the Tsar's hemophiliac son on numerous occasions. However, his growing influence and the debauched rumors surrounding him made him a target, leading to a series of relentless attempts on his life. The most notorious one being the assassination effort by Prince Felix Yusupov, Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, and other conspirators. The mystic's resilience to death became legendary. It's said he survived poison-laced pastries and wine, multiple gunshot wounds, and a brutal beating. Yet it was the chilling grasp of Mother Nature that finally claimed Rasputin's life. He was thrown into the icy Neva River, where he eventually succumbed to hypothermia. His body was found under a layer of ice, ending the life of one of the most enigmatic figures in Russian history. The saga of Grigory Rasputin is a tale of intrigue, influence, and indomitable survival, as fascinating today as it was over a century ago. Our sixth tale delves deep into the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, a significant event that took place in the tumultuous year of 1914. Europe at that time was a powder keg of political tensions and alliances, waiting for a spark to ignite it. This spark was the assassination of the Archduke. Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. Princip, along with the other members of the Black Hand secret society, was driven by a fervent desire for Serbia's independence from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The Archduke's visit to Bosnia was seen as an opportunity to make a political statement that would reverberate throughout Europe. This single act of violence had far-reaching consequences. It set off a chain reaction of events, beginning with Austria-Hungary's declaration of war on Serbia. One by one, due to a complex network of treaties and alliances, the great powers of Europe were drawn into what would be the most devastating war of the time. Indeed, the death of Franz Ferdinand marked the beginning of World War I, a global conflict that would forever alter the trajectory of human history. The world before and after the war were starkly different, shaped by the bloodshed and the changes it wrought. Our next point of focus is the tragic assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, revered as the father of the Indian nation. A stalwart who championed non-violence as a political strategy, Gandhi's approach towards resistance to British rule was an inspiration not only to his own people, but also catalyzed movements for civil rights and freedom on a global scale. His insistence on peaceful protests and passive resistance was at the heart of India's struggle for independence, leading to the nation's freedom in 1947. However, his life was tragically cut short in the following year, taken by an assassin's bullet. The man behind the murder was Nathuram Godse, an extremist who was discontent with Gandhi's approach towards the partition of India and Pakistan and his efforts to achieve Hindu-Muslim unity. For him, Gandhi's pacifism was a betrayal of the Hindu cause, leading him to commit the dreadful act on January 30th, 1948. The assassination of Mahatma Gandhi had a profound impact, not only on India but the entire world. It was a blow to the hopes of peace and unity in a newly independent India, causing shock and grief. His death also sparked a wave of violence across the country, yet internationally his legacy and philosophies continue to inspire. His principles of non-violence and peaceful protest have been adopted by many civil rights movements, making him a global symbol for peaceful resistance and unity, even in the face of adversity. His untimely death marked the loss of an extraordinary leader, but his ideals continue to inspire and guide millions across the globe. The eighth assassination on our list is a significant one, that of Louis Mountbatten, a man deeply entrenched in British politics and naval operations. Mountbatten was indeed a pivotal figure in the United Kingdom, taking on roles of great responsibility and influence. As a British statesman, he was a key player in shaping Britain's foreign policies. He was also a highly decorated naval officer, with a service record that spanned decades. Mountbatten's assassination took place in 1979, and was orchestrated by the Irish Republican Army, IRA. The motivations of the IRA were rooted in their desire for an end to British rule in Northern Ireland, which they sought to achieve through violent means. They viewed Mountbatten as a symbol of British imperialism, and his assassination was a part of their broader campaign against the British establishment. This act of violence marked a turning point in the Troubles, a tumultuous period in Northern Ireland's history. The brutal assassination of such a high-profile figure shocked the world and served to increase tensions between the IRA and the British government. This event amplified the urgency to resolve the conflict, thus significantly impacting the course of the Troubles. Our next story takes us to the heart of Sweden, centering on the assassination of Olof Palme, the charismatic prime minister. Palme was a pillar of Swedish politics, leading the country with a vision for social democracy. His policies widely impacted the Swedish society, aiming for equality and welfare for all. His unexpected assassination in the cold winter of February 1986 sent shockwaves not just in Sweden, but around the globe. On the fateful night, Palme was walking home from a cinema with his wife, unguarded, a testament to the peaceful society he helped foster. That peace was shattered when an unknown assailant gunned him down, leaving an indelible scar on the nation's consciousness. The mystery surrounding his death remains unsolved, a chilling cold case that continues to baffle investigators. The impact of this tragic event extended beyond Sweden's borders. The world mourned the loss of a progressive leader, a champion of peace and equality. His assassination served as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace, even in the most peaceful nations. It's a narrative that continues to shape Sweden and the world's political landscape. Reaching a definitive turning point in our story, we explore the assassination of Luis Carlos Galán, a man of many facets, principally recognized as a Colombian politician and journalist. Galán was not just any Colombian politician, he was a beacon of hope for many, emerging as a charismatic leader who was passionately committed to ending the drug trade that had infiltrated and plagued the veins of society. His death, which occurred in the year 1989, was not a mere tragedy, but a calculated move by the drug cartels. Fearing Galán's proposed extradition law that would deport captured drug lords to the United States, the cartels were desperate to maintain their reign of terror and profits. They hatched a sinister plot, resulting in Galán's untimely demise, which was executed under the cold hands of hired assassins, instilling fear and chaos within the nation. This grotesque act of violence against Galán was not just an attack on an individual, it was an attack on Colombia's effort to reclaim peace. It marked a turning point in Colombia's war on drugs, escalating the conflict to new heights. Galán's death fueled a national outcry, stirring the government and the public to rise against the cartels with an increased resolve, altering the course of the country's fight against drug trafficking forever. And so, we reach the end of our journey. 10 tales of power, betrayal, and the lengths people will go to shape the course of history. If you enjoyed our trip through time today, subscribe and like Time Travelers. Your ticket for the next journey awaits, as we continue our exciting exploration of history's most riveting moments. Until then, keep traveling, Time Travelers.